All right, boxing fans, Jab Jab Talk Nation, it's your boy Ozil. It's been a while, my friends. It's been a while. Frankly, you know that. If the fact that you stuck around for all my 308 subscribers on YouTube, the fact that you're still here, thank you so much. First and foremost, I'm grateful for all the subs and the community that we have built up here. I know I've been out of the loop. I apologize. I've been out the game. That's on me. I started this channel with the intent of being consistent, but life be lifing, as they say, and it's been crazy with work and balance and everything else in between. But excuse me, drinking my little coffee here this morning. I'm recording this, and even though you haven't seen me here on this YouTube channel, I've been watching a lot of boxing. I just haven't been posting and sharing. That's on me. That's on me. That's on me. But and again, if you're watching this, if you stumbled upon this YouTube channel, subscribe. I mean, I'm not like completely gone. I'm a huge boxing fan. I will post here and share, especially some thoughts about what's happening in boxing. There's a lot of boxing talk going on. We got Benavidez coming up fighting. We got that. We don't want to talk about that. Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis. Let's just not talk about that because I got some thoughts, and I'll talk about that later down the line. But let's talk about the big fight. Oh, I cannot believe it. We're like, 3 days away. The big mega fight between Saul Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Bud Crawford, going down this Saturday at the Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Huge stadium, huge for a huge fight. And, I've been counting down the days. I remember last month, I was like, man, I can't wait for September. And then September came and I'm like, oh man, it's gonna be a couple weeks. And then now I'm looking at my watch and my calendar. I'm like, we're 3 days away. We are 3 days away, ladies and gents. Yesterday, there was the grand arrival. I watched a little bit of that. It was late at night too. What's up with that? They're changing up things. I mean, they're going big. Listen, I got to give it up to His Excellency Turki Alassi and Dana White. By the way, he's just amazing promoter. Both of them. I mean, it's a mega house. I mean, from like, I'm a design guy, so like I love packaging. I love good packaging and design, and I mean from everything, right? Everything they do is big. From the graphics, from the video content, the way they tap into the creator people community and bring them in, and they got a bunch of people. They got Max Kellerman bringing it. They got Andre Ward. I mean, they're making this. This is an event. I actually heard somebody say this is our Super Bowl of boxing, and I couldn't agree more. Like that, 1,000% is what is happening this Saturday, and the build up all the way to the fight. So I'm excited. I'm going to be watching. They're going to be having the official weigh-in on Friday. I believe the press conference is tomorrow, and there's a lot going on this week. So I'm excited to kind of dig in, and you've obviously seen a lot of experts share a lot of their commentary, their opinions regarding this fight between Canelo and Crawford. Wow, I don't know where to start, y'all. I don't even know where freaking start. I mean, there's so much for me to talk about, and I'm excited. I want to encourage you to drop your comment and your opinions down below. We can start with predictions. I mean, I know we can start predictions just because I know it's going to get crazy, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be posting some random videos leading up to the fight, and of course I'm going to be doing a post. But where do I begin, man? Where do I begin? Where do I begin? All right, my friend, where do I begin? All right, about the fight. I'm going to go right to it. What do I think about the fight? Both of the fighters have been training their butts off from afar. They're both working hard. They're both putting in the work. Saul is looking great, in shape. We all know there's been a lot of buzz on social regarding Crawford's new physique, looking solid, muscular, built that muscle, looking fast, looking good, man, looking really, really good. I mean, this fight is exciting for multiple reasons, and it's a fight that we thought that would never happen because of the weight difference. Canelo really didn't want it. He was on track to go up weight and stay at 168 and then go 175 and then come back. And, and Crawford, started at 130, 135. I mean, so, nobody really thought that this would eventually happen. I mean, if anything, people were hoping for, when Crawford fought Spence, there were some other fighters that I wish I would have seen Crawford take on. I would have loved to see him against Virgil Ortiz, a Charlo, Boots Ennis. There was a lot of talk about that at 154. There was a lot of fights for Crawford. and Crawford didn't take it, and he just worked his angle. I think he aligned himself with Turkey LSC, and Turkey LSC dropped the money for Canelo to take the bait, and Canelo is a money man, and got him in, and now we have this fight happening, and now this fight is one of the most talked about fights around. Some people are referring this as like the Leonard and Hagler type of fight, and it's exciting. It's really, really exciting to watch this fight happen, and I just can't wait. I can't wait. Two elite champions, the last of the Mohicans. These are fighters that have been in the game for a while, and this is really, if you think about it, it's a bit kind of sad, because both of them are kind of transitioning and out of boxing. Not to start kind of going down a tangent, but I don't see boxing like this. May be the end of like these type of fighters of this magnitude. Canelo Alvarez, no matter how you feel about him, he is the modern day, Money Mayweather. He's calling the shots. He's the money man. He's doing brand deals. He's really built his personal brand beyond boxing, and he's living the dream. Like, he's doing his thing, and I have a lot of respect for Canelo Alvarez. For doing what he's accomplished, not only in boxing but even as a brand. Crawford, on the other hand, I feel like Crawford has also been Hall of Famer, amazing, undefeated. People didn't want to fight him, and didn't take the opposition that people wanted, or he didn't really take a lot of. He only fought once a year. I mean, he didn't give us a lot. Even still with 41 fights, it did feel right that Crawford really didn't give us a lot. Despite looking at his record, I mean, he had 41 fights, but it just feels like he just wasn't as active, or maybe he just didn't give us the fights that we wanted at the time. It took him a minute, for that suspense to happen. But where I'm going with this is that Crawford is another legendary fighter and has done a lot in boxing. 2-time undisputed. The man is a beast. Both of them elite fighters getting into the ring this Saturday to prove who's the greatest. I don't even look at the difference of like, Crawford going up 2 weight class. I don't even look at that anymore. I really don't. I feel like Crawford is such a competitive athlete, such a beast in there that I just don't see. I don't see him. I don't see the weight factor being an issue. I think he's in a build. I mean, he walks around, 190, I'm sure, or so. But now he cut down to 160, and he looks great. He looks like really, really good in shape. Now, talking about the fight, there's this fight, and I agree. Some of the commentary has been going around like, I think everybody's in agreement that this fight could go in many directions depending on who shows up on Saturday. If Crawford goes in there and is strategic and boxes, and it's just smart in boxes, I feel like, plain and simple, if Crawford uses his boxing skills and stays away from Canelo, I believe he wins the fight on Saturday. I believe he wins. Here's the reason why. If you look at the previous Canelo performances, his power is there. No doubt about it, right? He scares people with his power. He just boom. Ooh. And he did it with Charlo, he did it with Berlanga, he did it with Skull. You could tell like his power is a little different at 168. Concerning for Crawford for sure. But if Crawford boxes, I think he can win. Canelo, on the other hand, has his output. He's not putting those combinations together like he used to. So if you put Crawford's output of boxing, moving, switching different angles, playing smart for 12 rounds, and if he banks early on, he can win the fight. I do see that. We know that Canelo has been in competitive fights when he's had movers, when he's had people that put the jab out there, Bivol, even Kovalev, who he knocked out, Kovalev was using the jab. Even Plant had some moments in there, right? Billy Joe Saunders. So Canelo has had some close fights early on. It's just the Canelo pressure of the later rounds where it becomes a problem. But if Canelo, if his output is just one punch and I'm done, I think he's done. I think it's going to take more than one punch to take out Crawford, especially if Crawford can take the punch. I think it'll be a really tough night for Canelo Alvarez. I really do. Now let's talk about Canelo. If he goes in there with a strategy of putting punches together, countering. Canelo's going to do what Canelo does. I don't think he needs to change anything completely, but adds the pressure and lands good hips and body shots and hits the arms and do what he do. If he starts that early, I think he'll be able to bait Crawford into a slugfest later and potentially knock him out. Canelo's power is definitely there. Everybody saw Canelo. Yeah, it's there. It's definitely going to be a factor. And it's going to be a matter of can Crawford take his punch, and if can Canelo do the right things early on within the first few rounds to be able to set it up for a late round knockout or TKO, right? Can he finish him off at the end? If Canelo doesn't do that early on, I think the first few rounds are going to be super important about who wins. Now, we know Crawford's stamina, he can pick it up in the later rounds. I think it'll be a little bit different here with Canelo. I think the muscle, I think he'll be a little bit more fatigued and tired. There's questions about the ring rust. Crawford didn't fight, but he's fresher. But Canelo's active. He's always been active. The only concern with Canelo, and I feel like if it would have been different if we saw the Canelo of early the Saunders and the Plants and a couple years ago, that Canelo was putting combinations together, and his output was a lot more. He's just not active as much as he used to. He's a little bit more calculated, still dangerous. But I think with the type of fighter like Crawford, I think Crawford can give him some really serious problems and could potentially win despite the weight difference because of his boxing abilities and his experience and because he's a dog. And I feel like Crawford will early on let Canelo know, I got you. Like, if you look at Berlanga, when you look at Berlanga, even Charlo was looking at those fights, and even Jaime Munguia, when those guys threw some punches and landed some shots, it kind of paused Canelo a little bit. Canelo did get fatigued a little bit. It wasn't a lot, but I remember Berlanga landed a couple good shots. Even Charlo, whenever he let those hands go, it was like backed up Canelo. I think if Crawford could do that within the first few rounds just to set the tone and be like, look, I'm here, but be smart and not get hit, I think it'll be a long night for Canelo. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't know, y'all. Like, I don't know. You let me know in the comment section, like, what do you think about this fight? It can play in so many different ways. I think it comes down to who shows up a certain way. Now, if Crawford decides to be like, okay, I'm going to let the doggy dog out, and I'm going to go ahead, guns blazing, it could be an early night for Crawford. I will say Crawford can get hit. And if Canelo gets really comfortable and starts walking him down and putting that pressure and just landing some shots, it could be a tough night for Crawford. But if he just boxes, I think he could pull this off. Again, going back, Canelo, power, pressure, going to the body early, just pounding his body, tiring him out. I think Canelo will win. So I don't know if that really gives you a prediction. If I had to pick a fighter, man, it's so tough. I've kind of gone back and forth. It's crazy because a lot of people say like before, Canelo easy, it was an easy win because of the weight difference and all that. But I think the biggest question for like even Canelo, even folks that admire Canelo and really respect him, is if you have to look at this objectively. If Canelo was back in the day against Crawford, I think Canelo wins. I think so. I think that those combinations, I think that he was smart putting them together, that Canelo wins. This 2025 version of Canelo with the low output, it just evens things out. So I'm pretty sure if I was Eddie Reynoso, I'm pretty sure he's talking to me. He's going to be like, brother, you're going to have to throw some more punches for this one. You're going to have to put some combinations together to take this man out because I don't think one punch is going to do it. Don't think. And I'm a little concerned because Canelo always talking about power. But when he feels this fear, and I'm like, bro, like we get that. Power doesn't win the fights all the time, man. And I think he's gotten used to bullying folks, his opponents, that I think it's going to be, he knows he's in for a challenge. I think Crawford is he's cut from a different fabric. He's cut from the old school. Like he's going to do some things that he hasn't seen before either. Canelo talks about that all the time. Crawford's going to do some things he hasn't seen either. I think he's going to see a lighter guy like, when Charlo went up. But I think Crawford, won't be a Charlo. I think Crawford will fight. He'll fight. He'll make it. He's a competitor. He wrestles. He's going to make it a fight. And I think it'll be a different story. So, again, I don't know if I had to lean if I had to lean a little bit, I would lean towards Canelo. But then I don't know. I don't know what Canelo's going to show up. So if he gives us more than what we've seen in the past, I think Canelo wins this fight. I think he ends up with a knockout, late or stoppage, or a close decision. But he's going to have to step up. And that is the question. Is Canelo going to step up for Crawford? We know he's been training his butt off, but is he going to do something differently here for this fight that he hasn't done before? Because I think pulling the same arsenal that he has done in the past with the Crawford, I don't think it's going to work. So anyways, those are my thoughts Let me know in the comment section, what do you think about the fight? Your thoughts. I know this is a little long, but man, I got a lot of ideas, got a lot of thoughts rather, for this fight. And I'm excited. I'm really, really looking forward to it. But leave it in the comment section. I'm going to be doing more videos, of course, throughout the week. But thanks again for checking out Jab Jab Talk. Make sure you subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll see you on the next video, y'all. Peace.